What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are still going through all of those lovely new cards from BT8. There's a bunch to talk about, and today we are focusing in on green. And I'm a bit of a fan, right? Because we've already seen the Digimon's here in green, and Pulsemon's here in green, and I've had messages from a few people pointing out, well, hang on a second, Wossy, you love you some green, you've been pretty clear about that. And you love you some Pulsemon, you've been pretty clear about that. You're going to make a green Pulsemon deck? Yes! You better believe I'm going to make a green Pulsemon deck. It all goes up into Shivamon. I think Shivamon's amazing. We'll get here in a moment. Starting off today, we've got a Kakemon. And just a quick side note, as I said last time, if I'm going over any I've seen before, I'm sorry. It's hard to remember what we've done and what we haven't. A Kakemon here is a 2 cost to play, 3,000 power, level 3, 0 cost to Digivolve. It's fine. The thing is, we've seen this before. These are not, it isn't a particularly unique Digimon. This is exactly the same as Goblimon, for instance. Or Argamon. Like, literally exactly the same. Other than, obviously, the name and the picture. So, it's just another version of them. It's a 2 cost to play, 3,000 power, 0 cost to Digivolve. It depends what you're into. Alright? If this is the kind of thing you need, brilliant. If not, cool. But one thing that I do think is very important to note here is that even though we've got Goblimon and Argamon, that doesn't make this card redundant, because now you can potentially be playing 12 of these free to Digivolve 2 cost to play Digimon, and that is not insignificant, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually something to keep a little bit of an eye on, because you can be swarming 2 cost in green now. And this is something which I think we need to keep a little bit of an eye on. It is still a vanilla Digimon, but I think it's potentially a bit more interesting than your average one, because firstly, we've seen that these 2 cost to play, 0 cost to Digivolve see play, and secondly, having 3 at the same time is not a bad thing. Now moving on to Examon here, and we got a very exciting Digimon, or at least an interesting one. 5 cost to play, 2 cost to Digivolve, 5,000 power, nothing weird there. But when Digivolving, you may suspend one of your Digimon in order to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. But on all turns, this Digimon gains 1,000 power for each of your other suspended Digimon. And let's not forget that Digimon, while all of your Digimon are suspended, you gain 1,000 power. And that Pulsemon says that on all turns, this Digimon gains 1,000 power for each of your other suspended Digimon, i.e., same as Examon here. And incidentally, the level 5 Pismon has the same inheritable skill, and then Shivamon, while all of your Digimon are suspended, your opponent cannot use option cards. So, the point is, yes, there is a definite downside to suspending your Digimon, because if you suspend them, it means you can't attack with them. And it means they are suspended on your opponent's turn, and remember, generally speaking, there are always exceptions, your opponent can only attack your suspended Digimon. So when you suspend them, you leave them in harm's way, which is clearly not an ideal situation. I understand all of this, and I don't much care. Because the fact of the matter is, if it's a situation where I am going to do myself more harm than good, I'm not going to use this skill. It's a may, not a must. But there are going to be times where I can suspend my Digimon, and as I've just shown you, whole bunch of reasons to believe that's going to be an advantage. And then I also get to suspend one of my opponent's Digimon, and everything I said about mine refers to my opponents as well, because now they're not safe. I suspend one of mine, yay, I get an advantage, but I also suspend one of my opponents, and now I can attack them and delete them and all of that stuff. Or I suspend one of their blockers, and now all of a sudden they can't block me. Yes, it's pretty gosh darned awesome. And then, of course, you know, with Pulsemon, Examon, and Pismon all having the same inheritable skill, what that basically means is that every time a Digimon gets suspended, I'm getting a free 1,000 power boost? That's ridiculous. This is going to add up super quickly. Green have not been known for their massive power or their ways to boost power. That's been a red thing. But I think with this particular line here, this is one we should all get slightly excited about, because these are really, really cool. Also, with Pulsemon being a common and Pistamon being a common, this is at least an uncommon for which I can get a pre-release stamped promo, which, you know, I care about these things, quite frankly. I do. Now, one that is not so exciting, unfortunately, is Dreamokemon? Dreamokemon? Yeah. Whatever it is, it's a 5 cost to play normally, 1 cost to Digivolve, 5,000 power. Now, it's weird. It's kind of like a mole, but it's got a narwhal horn, because why not? But it's made of metal, and it's got a telly, and it's eating some bones. I don't know what this thing is, right? If you want to let me know in the comment section, that'd be cool. I mean, I know I could Google it, and I clearly will at some point, but, it'd be fun if you guys told me too. Point is, it's a 1 cost to Digivolve level 4. And that's it. That's the hook. Simple as that. It is a 1 cost to Digivolve level 4. That is all we really care about. And the thing is, we've seen 1 cost to Digivolve level 4s before. And the problem is, this is just worse than Vegemon. Like, there's no counter-argument here. Vegemon is 1 less to play and has an extra 1,000 power. This is worse than Vegemon. Now, this is slightly cheaper to play than Kabuterimon here, but they've got a really nice inheritable skill, so that kind of seems like a bit of a tiebreaker. And Gargamon is the same cost to play and has 1,000 less power, but has a really nice inheritable skill. So my point is, even in the context of a 1 cost to Digivolve level 4, we can do better. And I'm sorry, but I just don't like this card. There are very few Digimon cards, very few, that I can look at, even in the context of vanilla cards. Usually, the worst thing I can say about a vanilla Digimon card is, wow, we don't need it, we can use this instead. But here, I'm just flat out like, yeah, this is bad. And I know that we can put this next to Vegemon, and then we can play, 4 of each, except I've got 1 cost to Digivolve cards with inheritable skills that are good. Or I can go into the starter deck and I've got the 1 cost to Digivolve Kabuterimon that is a blocker. So if I've got 1 cost to Digivolve blockers and 1 cost to Digivolve Digimon that are both cheaper to play and have more power, I'm sorry, I cannot look at this as anything other than a pointless card. And I think there are very few actual pointless Digimon cards, but I'm afraid this actually counts. I don't understand why this card exists. This is just a bad card. There's no real saving grace. There is genuinely nothing I like about this card. Sure, it's a 1 cost to Digivolve level 4, but honestly, it doesn't make my top 5 1 cost to Digivolve level 4s. And that's not even me taking the mick. Vegemon, Kabuterimon, other Kabuterimon, Gargamon, Stingmon. Boom. 5 1 cost to Digivolve level 4s in green that I like more than this. And if it doesn't make my top 5 1 cost to Digivolve level 4s, and that is the only good thing about it, it's a bad card. And I am aware of the irony here that I have spent longer talking about this than I usually do in these speed round videos. Because it's a bad card, the irony of that is not lost on me. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got a far more exciting card that we can have a little bit of a look at. We have got Climbmon. Climbmon, Pistamon, Examon. Clearly we've got some kind of exercise theme going on here. Now, Climbmon is an 8 cost to play, 3 cost to Digivolve, 8,000 power. 737 is what we expect from a level 5, so it's a bit more expensive but a bit more powerful. When you Digivolve, if this Digimon is suspended, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with power less than or equal to this Digimon's power to its owner's hand. At which point that 8,000 power being slightly higher than normal actually becomes super proper job relevant. But this is cool. This is extremely cool. This is hyper cool. This is very cool. I love it. Now, you've got to be suspended, but remember I've shown you ways to suspend your Digimon and reasons why you would want to. Or you can just attack with a level 4, fingers crossed you don't get deleted, and then you Digivolve up, and you get to get rid of one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's 8,000 power or less, but remember, you could have a level 3 Pulsemon, and you could have a level 4 Examon. And then if you've got 1 or 2 suspended Digimon, this power gets pushed up super, super quickly. Love it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely love it. You could potentially, with 2 suspended Digimon, if you've gone Pulsemon, Examon here, you got 2 suspended Digimon, boom, 12,000 power or less to your opponent's hand. That's getting a level 6 off the board. That's huge. Like, genuinely huge. You Digivolve up into a level 5 and take your opponent's level 6 off the board? Yes. Absolutely yes. We've then got an inheritable skill on your turn. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. I.e., you have to be suspended on your turn, then it goes to your opponent's turn, then it comes back to yours, unsuspend phase, you unsuspend. Yay! Job's a good un. It's brilliant. Because again, we talked earlier in the video about how fun it is and how useful it is to suspend your opponent's Digimon. Now you get to go and do that, and all you're doing is unsuspending, which a lot of the time you're going to be doing anyway. Yeah, cannot be the only one that thinks this is really cool. And you don't know this, but I actually almost uploaded this video without adding in a bit about Spidermon, which, well, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that would be a little bit rude. Although there isn't really a huge amount to say about it. 10 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 13,000 power. We've seen a few of these dual-type vanilla level 6s so far in this set, so I don't need to spend a load of time talking about it. We kind of talked about it before. If you put it side by side with something like Hoomon, this is better, kind of. Well, Phoenixmon is in English, because it is got an extra 1,000 power, which is cool. It is more expensive to Digivolve, but a lot of these vanilla ones tend to be hard cast because they're cheap enough to actually do it and they're very powerful. So it's better in that regard. Plus, you've now got more options for level 7s to Digivolve into, given that you're both green and red, and it opens up more options in terms of option cards, so if that's what you're into, go for it, but it's very much like the other ones we've already talked about. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I like green Digimon, and frankly, I like what we've talked about today, except that dude with a hard-to-pronounce name that is a pointless card. But I don't know, that's a question for a different day. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these, or any of the other cards in BTA, or any other green cards, or anything else related to Digimon, or, what you had for lunch, what your pet's called, basically anything. Let's have a chat. I'm a friendly dude. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of card games. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.